Well, a very good morning to you, and certainly a fantastic day here live from the James Motlatsi Stadium here in Orkney. And I can certainly tell you there are hundreds of people who have come here today to celebrate South Africa's rich culture, their history, to tell their story that has moved South Africa forward. We're live here, and certainly as you can see here towards my left, so many people have already filled the stadium, all dressed in fantastic attire. Ndibona amaXhosa, ndibona amaZulu, ndibona abeSotho. It's absolutely fantastic to be here today. As you rightly pointed out, that Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa will give a keynote address here today. He's expected to touch on a range of issues that move South Africa forward, how South Africans are supposed to preserve this rich culture that we have here, bringing cultures together. Certainly that is what we're seeing here at the James Motlatsi Stadium. And certainly we're going to interact with a lot of people as well, certainly all of these people here behind me, and they'll tell their story about how they move South Africa forward. We'll hear from them one-on-one. But I'm going to talk now to my first guest, and it's Dumisani Sibai, who is the Executive Officer of the Heritage Resources Agency. Tata. Ndiphilile nkosi kunjani tata?
Sikhule sisakhokhala.
Masike siqale ngesiduko.
Ongubase lo omcengceni omkhabakhaba odlula wakhe amabasa abasela inkosi isigodwa inkwe kuya ngapha emzimkhulu emabhacini.
Awusukani madoda. Akumanje balapha nawe bhuti. Thanks so much for joining us. Dumisani, I think let's talk first of all about what the Heritage Resources Agency does.
We are an institution responsible for management and conservation of heritage resources. Now, when we talk of heritage resources, we talk of places and objects of cultural significance.
You know, do South Africans value these resources? We look at Mapungubwe, we look at a host of others, the preservation of those. Is there an appreciation from South Africans for these resources?
There is appreciation, and there's a growing appreciation as people become more and more aware of the significance of their heritage resources. And we're encouraging communities to participate in the process of managing and conserving these heritage resources. Every person behind me here has a story, and that story is linked to a place or to an object. Therefore, it's very important that we tell our stories and use some of the objects and places that are important to us.
When you say growing, it gives me the impression that it's not exactly where we want it to be. But more can be done, certainly. Let's talk about education drives. Do you go into communities to talk to not just on Heritage Day, but any other day on the South African calendar?
We do go to communities as we identify sites. We identify these with communities. And in that process, then we participate in educating those communities and promote the significance of these heritage resources and encourage them to identify and conserve them. But we need to do more. We need more resources, we need more involvement of communities in identifying these sites.
What's the difference between yourselves and the South African Heritage Council? Well, the roles certainly don't link.
There's a difference. They manage heritage broadly. That will include dances, intangible heritage, and other aspects of heritage. Ours is to identify heritage resources, the physical spaces and objects. That's the difference.
Right, Mr. Dumisani Sibai, thank you so much for your time there from the South African Heritage Resources Agency, certainly giving us some insight into a lot of what we're expecting here today. But as you can see, let me just bring you a bit this way. Let's move this way. I know that the camera person is going to be very tired by the time I'm done with all of this, but you can see quite a celebration there on that part of the stadium. Together with my colleague Naledi Mulewa a bit later on, we're going to be talking to as many people as possible for them to tell their South African story that has moved this country forward. But Eben, I'm telling you, I'm expecting a lot of excitement. Let me just walk through my outfit a little bit. Come, have a look. I'm wearing a Zulu attire today. Never mind the Western shoes, though. Okay, never mind the Western shoes. But the Zulu attire that I'm wearing today, thank you very much to a friend who's actually donated this to me. And absolutely, this is fantastic. I feel great. Back to you in studio.
You look amazing, Chriselda. Absolutely fantastic. Adds a lot of color, and what a fantastic celebration you guys are putting together. It's going to be fantastic. That's the official celebration in Klerksdorp. Chriselda Lewis will keep us updated.